What's going on, everybody? It's etaprime back here again. Today we're going to be checking out Black Myth Wukong on the ROG Ally X. In this video, I'm going to show you the settings that I'm personally using with this game on the X. We're also going to get an idea of what kind of battery life we can expect out of this device while playing Wukong. And before we get started here, I do have to say that I slept on this game for a couple days after release. Wasn't really sure about it. Checked out a lot of gameplay footage. I picked it up. Absolutely love it. What I'm going to do now is just swap over to my game capture so I can give you a look at the settings. Then we'll move back over to the built-in screen of the ROG Ally X. Show you a little bit of gameplay with the settings we're going to be using here. And then we'll check out what kind of battery life you can expect out of the Ally X playing this game with the settings provided. So yeah, this game actually does run pretty well on the ROG Ally X. I'm at a 20 watt TDP right now, so I've got a manual set TDP. If you go to performance mode, it's going to be 17 watts. I would suggest running this at 20. If you're plugged into the wall, take it up to 25. You're just going to see a bit better performance out of it. From display, borderless, 900p. I've got a frame cap set of 60 FPS. We can also turn on VSync if you want to. I'm going to disable this for the video. Motion blur is off. I personally don't like motion blur. You can enable it if you want to. But taking a look at graphics, the main thing here is going to be our super resolution scale. I'm going to be at 60 using FSR and AMD's frame generation. All the way down, we've got to take it to low. We're on an iGPU. Now, I'm sure we could tune and tweak some of these settings up and take it to 720p, but I do think it looks pretty good at 900p on the built-in ROG Ally X screen. Back up here, and we'll do an area that's just a bit harder on it. Okay, so just keeping an eye on that frame rate up there. You can see, we're over 60 FPS. And again, I did mention that every once in a while you will see it fall below 60. You just saw it right there. One thing you could do here is definitely drop it down to 720p and see an even higher frame rate. And at 720, you could actually drop the TDP by about 2 watts. Or if you don't want to drop under 60 while running it at 900p, take it up to 22 watts. That way we don't have any kind of dips at all. And yeah, 900p still looks good on this built-in display here. And to tell you the truth, if you don't have a frame counter on, it's something you're probably never going to notice because we really never go under 56 FPS. And with the FreeSync display we have here with the ROG Ally X, keeps it nice and smooth. We don't have to worry about any screen tearing with it. So I've already gone through this game and I've played about 30% of it on the X. Well, I gotta admit that my wife did play a lot of it also on my main PC. But yeah, everything that I've done here over on the X has been a pretty smooth experience. And when you're on the go, having something with a big battery and something that you can actually charge up pretty quickly with a 100-watt charger is really awesome. I'm seeing some decent runtime out of this playing the game with the settings I'm using here. And as you can see, even throwing some magic out with some enemies on screen, it's still holding pretty steady here. Now, in these closed off areas where there's not a lot of draw distance, you will see around 80 FPS. And again, if you lock this at 60, this is actually going to save you some battery because right now it's needing to use all 20 watts to get up to the frame rate we're at right now. There is a chance that locking this down at 60 will net you better battery life, even if you've got the TDP set at 20. So we're about to get into the built-in benchmark, and that's another thing I actually like about this game. It will allow you just to see what your system can do, and the benchmark is pretty good. I did notice that it's a little light when you compare it to real gameplay and having a whole bunch of people on screen, but it does kind of give you a good idea of what your system can do. Now with this, we've got the watt meter on screen. So this is total battery draw, everything in the unit, from the RGB that's on screen. I've got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth on right now. Screen is set at 50% brightness, and if you turned off Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and the RGB around the analog sticks, which it's only at 33% right now, it really doesn't change this that much. We're drawing anywhere from 28 to 29 watts with a 20 watt TDP, and that's total draw, everything going on with this unit playing this game right now. We've got an 80 watt hour battery in the Ally X, and like I mentioned, this benchmark is a bit light. I do think they should have added a battle sequence or something like that with some magic, more characters on screen. You can see we're just kind of cruising through the forest right now. And there is a lot more to this game than just going through here. So yeah, having some more characters on screen, a nice battle sequence added into this benchmark would have been really awesome. But at the end of this benchmark, we had an average of 70 FPS with the settings I'm using. Low FSR, we've got resolution scale set to 60%. I'd say during real gameplay, it's an average of around 63 FPS. So taking everything into consideration here, we've got an 80 watt hour battery. We've got the TDP set at 20 watts, 900p low screen brightness set to 50%. On average, total battery draw is 29 watts with the settings used here with Wukong. We're going to get around 2 hours and 30 minutes out of it. Taking the game down to 720p and playing the game at a 17 watt TDP, total draw there is going to be around 25 watts, 3 hours and 15 minutes. I think that's some pretty decent runtime playing a game on something like this, and overall, I've been having a really good time playing the game on this device. But that's it for this one. Really appreciate you watching. If you were kind of on the fence about picking this up for the X, just note that, yeah, you can actually play this at full speed and have a really awesome time with it. If there's any other games you want to see tested on any x86 handheld out there, let me know in the comments below. Like always, thanks for watching.